Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Afina. On today's video we're going to create this orange crop top. It has long sleeve and a turtleneck. For this project I used 550 grams of this orange chunky yarn. It's 100% acrylic. We'll need a tape measure, a pair of scissors, and for this project I used a 5mm crochet hook. So we start with a slip knot. You start with a slip knot. You leave a long tail, which will I'll show you what to do with a long tail once the work is done. So if you're on this tutorial, there's a link to a written pattern. I'll leave the link in the description box below, but the exact measurement or the exact outfit I'm making is similar to the written pattern, and this is for size medium. There are 5 different sizes on the written pattern, so this is just a size medium. So refer to the written pattern for the different sizes of the crop top you would like to make. So we start with our foundation chain. So for the foundation chain, make sure to make it a bit loose, such that whereby when you're coming back to work, your crochet hook can easily pass through, but again not too loose to be way off from the desired measurements or from the recommended measurements. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. You can work the rest of the foundation chains. I'll meet you once you are done. Once you have a foundation chain the length of the cardigan you want to make, you need a stitch marker to mark the section of the rib from the section of the body part of the work you're making, whether it's the sleeve part or a back or a front panel. So the front and the back panel both looks the same, so the sleeves as well, but this first part is a section for the front panel. Insert your stitch marker. So this will be the section of the single crochets which will act as the rib part of your front panel, and then this will act this other side will act as the body of the work you are creating of your front panel. So for the part of the single crochets, for your work to be neat, or I prefer or I will recommend to work on the back loop ridge of your foundation chain. So this is the front, this is the back, and then this is the back loop ridge. I recommend to work on the back loop ridge to give very nice clean effect. So you start with the recommended number of foundation chains, of single crochets, and a single crochet is work like that. You yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So you make the number of the recommended single crochets to act as the rib part of your work. and then you work your last single crochet on your stitch marker. So this will be my ribbed part of the bottom part of my front panel, and then the body is worked with half double crochets. So still working on the back loop ridge of your foundation chain, half double crochet, you yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. That's a half double crochet. Again, yarn over, pull through, you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So you work your single crochets to the end, and I'll meet you. Now we are on to our last chain. You do 1 half double crochet. We are done with our last stitch, and working on the back loop ridge gives this nice effect at the bottom of your work. And then now we're on to row 2. So for row 2, on the side, when you finish with your half double crochet, you chain 2 and turn your work. So from row 2, you work on both loops. So like I said, this is a beginner friendly pattern. So to work on both loops, because we finished with a row of half double crochet, we begin with a row of half double crochet. You yarn over, and to work on both loops, so this loop that is nearest to you is the front loop, and then this loop farthest from you is the back loop. But now we are not working on a single loop, we are working on both loops. So you, from forward, and then this V, you push your crochet on both loops on the V looking stitch, and then pull through. That's your first half double crochet on both loops, and then you do another one, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then you continue down, and I'll meet you at the stitch marker. Okay. When you get to the section of your single crochets, so I'll just do a single crochet. But in case you need you'd like to always remember what your single crochet stitch is, you can always place a stitch marker on the first single crochet stitch or the last single crochet stitch when you're coming upwards, to help identify which stitch makes a stitch marker. And then for the single crochet stitches, we work on the back loop, not on both loops. So for the half double crochet stitches, we work on both loops, but for the single crochet stitches, we work on the back loop. So remember, this is your the stitch facing is the front loop, and then the stitch facing backward, it's like away from you, is the back loop. And so we work single crochets on the back loop only. So single crochet rows are worked on the back loop, and the half double crochet rows single crochet stitches are worked on the back loop only, and then this half double crochet stitches are worked on both loops, yeah. So work your single crochets to the end. There. So this is your second row. So on the rows where you finish on the single crochet side, you chain one and turn, and on the rows where you will finish the half double crochet, you chain two and turn. So for the second row, we finish with a single crochet stitch, so we'll chain one and turn our work. So remember, all single crochet rows are worked on the back loop. Remember this first stitch, this chain one doesn't act as a stitch, so you go to the first stitch on the back loop and do a single crochet, and you do single crochet back loop until you get to your stitch marker. Take off your stitch marker on the last single crochet stitch, put a single crochet, and then mark that stitch as your single crochet. Will work to identify it when coming backwards. And then after the single crochet, we work now the top part of your front panel, which is a half double crochet and is worked on both loops. So no more working on the back loop, instead we work on both loops. So continue putting half double crochets. I'll meet you at the last stitch of your half double crochet stitch on your third row. You get to the last two stitches. Remember this last stitch, it sometimes you can miss it, and if you're not sure if you have chained all the stitches, it doesn't had to count. Once you get into the rhythm, you won't be needing to count, because you can clearly see this is a stitch. So when you get to the last stitch, make sure you crochet that last stitch, add a half double crochet. So this is a row that ended with a half double crochet, meaning to begin row 4 you chain 2. So the rows ending with a half double crochet, you chain 2 and put half double crochet on both loops until you get to your stitch marker. And the rows ending with single crochets, you end the row, chain 1, turn your work, and work single crochets on the back loop only. Continue, and I'll meet you continue working. I'll meet you once I get the desired length. Remember, everything I'm doing on this video tutorial is similar to the written pattern, but there are other different size recommendations on the written pattern as well. We've gotten the height, and now we've gotten the length from the from one side of the shoulder to the next. So remember our long tail from when we started our foundation chains. So this long tail, you will go ahead and attach yarn so that we create a row of single crochet. So this will just make the work more neat, and also it helps with joining this part of the front panel to the back panel. So once you've attached your yarn, you'll insert your hook create a single crochet. And since this is the section of the half double crochet row, it means that every time we were starting a row, we were doing 2 chains, then turning. So meaning each section here should get at least should get a maximum of 2 single crochets each until the end. And this is how you create your single crochet. So I put 1 single crochet in the middle of the first in the middle of the half double crochet row, and then insert my hook right here in the ridge that connects one row to the next, and then I do that all the way to the end. So 1 stitch in the middle, and then 1 stitch in the space joining the 2 rows, 1 stitch in the middle, and then 1 stitch in the row in the middle of the row that joins it. And then now do that until you get to this other end of the shoulder portion, and then I'll meet you back for us to join. Now we are done with a row of single crochet, chain 1, and still leave the long tail. What I like about the long tail is that it helps in finishing. I feel like my work is more neat if I keep the string going than attach new yarn at every joint. So that's just me. So we are done with the front panel. We make a similar exact one for the back panel, like this. And for the sleeves as well, we make 2 identical panels like this, depending on the size and the measurements of the sleeve length or the size length of the crop top you're making. Make 2 similar ones. I went ahead and made one. So this is one sleeve panel, and then go ahead and make 2 of those. Once you're done, just same to this, arm length half double crochet, and then for the wrist section, single crochets, double crochet on both loops, single crochet on the back loop only. Once you're done at the top side of your sleeve or on this or on the half double crochet section, add 1 single crochet at the top, and then fold it together. Again, me with my long tails, I will attach a yarn here, and then join these 2 together. Join these 2 together so that I have one side of the sleeve length and then the other side of the sleeve panel. So once you're done, I went ahead and did another sleeve section. Again, the length that works for the size, the single crochet row on the half double crochet section, and then I joined the 2 sections using a slip stitch. And yes, this is one side of the arm. We'll come back to this arms when we are going to join the 2 sleeves on the body part. For now, we are going to do the neck section, the pull neck. So first of all, you figure out the right side of your work and the wrong side. For me, I determine this by the single crochet section, where these ribs, the first ribs form, the outer ridges form, is my front section, and then this other side where the first dips inside becomes my wrong side. So for the back panel, right side up, and then for the other panel, wrong side up, like that. Oh, the other issue with these long tails is that they tend to be absolutely everywhere. So I don't mind it though. So yeah, so join the two sections, we'll stitch it up together. I'll show you how, but for now we're focusing on the neck section. So join the front panel and the back panel together. Measure your shoulder section with the size of the cardigan you're making. So join this, you'll join these two together. So this is the one shoulder section, and this is the other shoulder section, right? And then this is the neck section. So I'll take the long tail, again, me with my long tails. And then join these two shoulder sections together, and I join them with a single crochet. And so for joining, what I normally do is the very first stitch I use both loops, both front loop and back loop, and do a single crochet. But for the other, from the second section to the end, where I'll also do another both loops, I take the front panel of this side and take the back panel of the other side and do a single crochet. That's how I normally join my work. So again, front panel of this top side, and then back panel of the bottom side, and then slip stitch. Wait, sorry, did I say single crochet before? It's slip stitches. So I do that until I get to my stitch marker. So for joining, it doesn't have like it's not set in stone. If single crochet doesn't work for you, if slip stitches don't work for you, you can do single crochets. If not, you can use a yarning needle. Yarning needle. And then also for this, the tricky part about the slip stitches is that they have to be loose. You can't put them too tight, and also you can't put them too loose. Just enough tension, not too tight. If you put it too tight, it will bunch up. If you put it too loose, then again, I don't think it will be neat. But you just not too tight, not too loose, like that. Slip stitch all the way around. Goodness, this is my first official tutorial. So nervous about it. It actually took me 3 weeks. This is so bad to say, but anyway, nerves held me down. But well, I figured it's okay to be nervous. It's just not okay to be nervous and never do it. But again, be nervous, but then go ahead and do it. So over 2 weeks later, to be honest, 3 weeks later, I am here. I figured, let me just finish it instead of just keeping holding myself back. So once you get to your stitch marker, I'm so sorry for the bubble, I'm so sorry for bubbling, ignore me. So on the very first and the last stitch, I normally join them with a half double crochet, goodness, a single crochet. And after, like on the very last stitch, once you're done with your work, you chain one, like that, pull the yarn all the way through, and now we're done. For this section, I will no longer need a long tail. I will just weave this in once I'm done. So one side of the shoulder portion is done. We're going to the next side, and again, do the same here like what you did here, and I'll meet you once you get to your stitch marker. When we get to the last stitch, we take out our stitch marker, my goodness, and then the last stitch, of course, is joined using a half double crochet. Oh my goodness, a single crochet, I'm so sorry. So for this next neck portion, remember we already have this one row of single crochets, but now I like to add another row of single crochet. I chain one right after the last stitch that joined these two, and then on this stitch where on this same stitch where the last joining stitch was, I will insert one single crochet and then add one single crochet all around. So one single crochet on each single crochet from the row below, and so add one single crochet all around. When you get to this, you'll add one single crochet here on the front part of the where the last stitch of joining was. You'll add one single crochet from the front part and another single crochet from the back part, and then I'll come and join you here on the last single crochet right here where the last stitch of joining the two panels was, the last single crochet. I will meet you there, and then we'll go ahead and do the pull neck portion. Sorry about that. We're almost at the end. Single crochet, the last stitch, single crochet, and then slip stitch on the first single crochet. Done. So for this next part, I'll just chain this one here as a placeholder. So to begin the neck part, what we do, we turn our work and work on the right side. So first of all, this is the effect joining with a single with a slip stitch does to a pattern. I really like it a lot. Gives a beautiful finish. So for the neck part, we turn our work on the right side. Okay, so then the neck portion will be worked on the right side of your crop top, and not the back, not on the wrong side. So just pass my hand through. Once you turn your work on the right side, we chain, remember this single crochet, this chain here we did, I'll just undo so that we start afresh. So you will chain a foundation chain the length of the pull of the pull neck you you want, how high up your neck you'd like it to be. So if you want it folded, if you want it just a single piece, you want it longer, you want it shorter, create chains long enough for the length of the folded neck part you'd like. I'll meet you once you're done with your chains. Once you have the length of neck part you like, we do single crochets, and then we'll join it to the neck section. So single crochet, skip the first, so is it the last chain, and then add single crochets. And remember, I like working on the back loop ridge. You see this ridge on the foundation chain. That way the bottom part looks really nice and neat, and you'll see how easy it is when we're joining this first row to the last row after you're done all around. So add single crochets, and I'll meet you at the bottom, or on the last stitch, sorry. We are on the last stitch. Don't forget this. Again, what really helps me with or really helped me make sure my work is like neat and I don't miss stitches is when I'm not sure if I got to every stitch, I just normally count. It's easier. It's slow, but then again it gets you into a rhythm, and then it just becomes like normal, you know. I don't know if it's making sense. Now, when you get to the last stitch of the length of the neck section, so because this neck has like a bigger space and I want like a fitting, I want this section to be well fitted and not like loosely hanging. What I will do when I'm coming down from the odd number row, I will skip this first stitch and slip stitch on the next stitch. That way I'm minimizing and I'm making the neck section more fitting. But if you want it loose, just make sure each single crochet for each row. So from our row 1, we skip 1, we slip stitch on the next stitch that finishes the first row of the neck section, and then we add another slip stitch. So this represents chain 1 of row 2. So we chain 1 and turn our work. Skip the first slip stitch and the second slip stitch, and then add 1 single crochet on the back loop only of the next section, and add single crochets until you get to the top. We are now at the end of row 2 or the next section. Last stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. We'll work a row of single crochets on the back loop only, and I'll meet you when you're joining it to the neck portion of the now we are at the end of row 3. Again, remember, we are not giving, like for this pattern, I am not creating like an oversized neck section. I want a well-fitting neck section. So to join, I will skip this first single crochet and slip stitch on the next. That brings an end to row 3. Now to begin row 4, we slip stitch on the next stitch and then turn our work. Then turn our work. Again, remember, we'll skip the first 2, so that the slip stitch just next to your hook acts as the chain 1 for the row you're working on going upwards, and the slip stitch after that just concludes the row you're working towards the next section. So we'll repeat row 2 and 3 all the way around, all the way around, while skipping, when coming downwards, skipping 1 so that the neck becomes bunch. I'll show you how, until we get to the last stitch, and I'll meet you once you've gone all round, and we'll meet at the end here. At the bottom of the row, there's 1 stitch remaining, so I won't work 1 row to come. I won't want to work another row going down, then join going up. I prefer, when joining the 2, I join finishing at this section of the neck, so that I can be able to work my the remaining yarn in between this section here, than having to find a way of hiding them at the top section. So again, joining the neck portion together, we work on the right side, and we work on the right side because this is long enough to fold. So when you fold like this, the section that you joined these two will show on the outside. But if you join it on the right side, when you fold it, the area of joining will be hidden on the wrong side of your cardigan or your work. So we are going to join this to this, so that it becomes a full circle for the neck portion. And as always, don't forget the last stitches. So for this last stitch, I'm going to work on both loops for the last row and the first row, both loops, slip stitch. And remember, this section that didn't have this last stitch, I'll pull my yarn through and then do a slip stitch, chain 1 and cut, chain 1 and cut, pull through all the way, and then take this yarn, pull it on the other side, on the wrong side, bring it over on the wrong side, bring it over on the wrong side, and then I'll work it all around. And so this concludes our neck portion. As you can see, it's not too wide. It looks wide, but then it comes over and then it gives a good finish. And also another thing I love about finishing with a slip stitch, as you can see, unless you really pay attention, you won't easily notice that this is the slip stitch that joined both ends. And then when it is worn and it is folded, again, this is how it will look. So we are done with our neck portion. So pay attention to the next section. So after we are done with our neck portion that was worked on the right side, we again go back and turn our work and then work on the wrong side. Work on the wrong side after you turn your work on the wrong side, join the back panel and the front panel at the sides, leaving an armhole space. So depending on the crop top size you're making, leave the armhole space enough for the size you're making, and then join the bottom part. So this will be under your armpit to your waist. You'll join the front and the back panels. Again, I left I left a long tail, and so what helps me measure the long tail is that I normally measure this length times 4, and then that yarn will be enough until that section. So join the front and the back panel on this section, and then go ahead and do the same with this other section. Measure the armhole measurements of the size you're making, and then join the ends. Again, this other side, as you can see, also it has my long tail, and after you're done, I'll meet you on how to join the sleeve to the. We're coming to the end of joining the front and the back panel, and as always, the last stitch is worked on both loops. Slip stitch, chain 1. Okay, now when joining the sleeve to the body part is on the wrong side, and then you turn the sleeve on the right side like this. Like this. So the sleeve will be joined to the body part while it's on the right side, and you fold it in such a way that the line that joined the sleeve together is facing the line is aligned also with the line that joined the front and the back panel, and you will insert the sleeve while it's on the right side and the body is on the wrong side. You'll insert it inside the armhole like this, pull through. There's a better way of doing it. I do it better. I'm just I'm nervous. First video and all. Anyway, next video I'll be better, I promise. Okay, once they are aligning like that, we will join both panels together. Of course, for me the first one is always on both loops like that, and I'll do a simple crochet on it, and then the rest will be front loop, back loop, slip stitch, front loop, back loop, slip stitch, front loop, back loop, slip stitch, and we will do this all round, and I'll meet you at this end. Okay, chain 1 and cut. So we are done. So if you pull the crop top, you'll find that the wrong side match, the wrong side of the sleeve match the wrong side of the crop top. We are all done. Here is our finished crop top. This is how it looks. This is how the sleeves look. This is how it looks when you join with a slip stitch. Looks really good. I like it. This is the whole body of the cardigan. So this is the whole body of the crop top. I really fumbled a lot. Let me know what you liked on the tutorial. I will meet you on the next one. Thank you for watching.